This is Keith Padgett. Keith Padgett is the designer, the artist, the builder. He's absolutely everything. He is Mr. Laserfest.
You want to talk about this is what's called laser. It's going to be an urban chaos. This is representation of after an apocalyptic event where maybe people have had to go underground. This is a story that we're going to go with. We start off in a store, and this store is an old building, and that's where you gather, and that's where what we've designed here. And of course, it's chaos right now because of the construction of it. But what we tried to do is we tried to bring in kind of a representation of an old store or the interior of a room with the stairs, so you can actually enter the arena from the upper level or the lower level. Being that you're part of the underground or part of the chaos, the urban chaos, one of the ways you enter the arena is through a bookshelf. And that bookshelf opens up and you enter to the downstairs of the arena. As you go through it, you have windows that are dormant. You have walls that are kind of, after say an apocalyptic event, the walls would be not necessarily pretty. So everything's not necessarily finished and beautiful, but we've had one of the things that we wanted that Chris asked for was a wreck of an ambulance. So if you'll look over this way, what we've got is we've got an ambulance that's, I thought about it after an apocalypse or a post-apocalyptic event, probably ambulances would be somewhat similar to what you'd see in the US or the Canadian militaries, where you'd have sort of a Humvee look. So what we've done is we've made an EMS or an emergency medical service vehicle from Mercy General, which French is a second language or the first language to some people in Canada. And so what we've done is we tried to emulate that with actual working lights. Those lights are actually the emergency vehicle lighting that we use. We also have, in this particular vehicle, we have on the other side, we have wheels and a transmission and a motor. This transmission and motor on this side, inside the motor is a fog machine, and that smokes, and it looks just like as if it's had an accident, obviously. Now this is what we call the turbine. This was actually a thought that was thought up by a guy that works with me named Ken Peltier. And he decided he wanted to have this circular turbine, he called it. And at the end of it, you can see there's this old squeaky fan, and the fan is representational of maybe the air duct that had to be come in. Of course, this is the Main Street area. This is downtown. You'll be able to shoot across. You'll actually be able to walk from one side to the other. Every single room has ramps that can go up. This is a smaller arena, but we tried to work it where you've got head clearance, or we have worked it where you've got head clearance that allows you to use two levels. As you walk up this outside corridor, these ramps here represent, once again, kind of a cold, more of a barren, cold area. So you see the murals on the walls. As you look around, there will be all kind of murals, and all of this is done in black light with a UV wildfire paints. You can't really see it with that light. As you walk up the ramps, you can see again that here's the emergency medical vehicle that is crashed. On this upper level, what we tried to do is bring in more of the atmosphere on the outside by putting in false windows. If we cross across a bridge, of course this is water lines, we've had to work around this whole time. You can see that you got a view down again of the downtown or the Main Street area. Chris came up with, the owner, Chris, came up with the barber pole he wanted to have in there, so we added that. And inside this area, what we have is we have what's called bases and sentry pods. This is a laser runner is supplying the software for this, or the laser tag software for it. And what they have is they have not only bases, but they have what's called sentry pods. And these sentry pods will fire back at you. So as you walk through, they actually interact with you. You can shoot them to gain points, or you can lose points if they shoot you. This theme being the apocalyptic theme, we were going to do it in the fan, but we kind of liked it to go the whole time, so we left it alone. And what we do is an old technique called the chiaroscuro, where I know you've seen the old velvet paintings, black velvet paintings where they do Elvis and this kind of stuff. That's very similar to what we do. We start off with a black canvas. So everything is solid black, and we've painted it with a fire retardant additive that goes into the paint. So everything starts off black. Now, in some instances, like with this ambulance, we wanted the ambulance to be a different color, so we painted it white first. And then it reflects different as we start adding the color to it. When we finish the arena, it actually gives you the feel that you're interacting, and you'll start off on 2 levels. You'll have 2 teams. One will come up the stairs that we showed you earlier. The stairwell is here, or you can go back like I showed you, like we entered the arena, through the bookshelves. And you won't actually see the second team until you come here, and they've weaved their way through that maze that we've saw before and get out onto Main Street. Once they do, you're actually firing at them and vice versa. They cross in Main Street, or they go in through the ambulance. And basically, that's pretty much this arena.